Welcome back, everybody. In this episode, I have Zack Bonfilio, better known as the Misfit Patriot, on the show. We have a great discussion. I think everyone's going to enjoy this episode. That being said, I must give you a warning here. We were plagued with technical difficulties before we started recording. We both thought that those technical difficulties had been solved or alleviated. Unfortunately, on my track, my vocal channel, you will hear some artifacts, constant pops and clicks here and there. And it could be annoying, especially for someone like me, who literally is a 27-year veteran in the audio industry, who has mixed live sound concerts, live streams, corporate events, etc., and recorded a few albums. And unfortunately, I can't get rid of it. When we were recording, they weren't there. When I go to open the file and edit and finalize, they showed up on my channel somehow. So I hope you can get past that, because the conversation really is a good one. It is a 2-hour-long conversation that is relevant. We talk a lot about what's happening with the Conservative Party, what's going on with the MOU. There's just a bunch in this episode that I think you're going to like. So please power through it. Just realize that, yes, those pops and clicks on my voice are there. Just kind of tune it out if you can. And the saving grace here is this. Zack, the Misfit Patriot himself, his channel was fine. Clear as a bell, nothing wrong with anything on his side. So I hope that you enjoy this. I hope that you're not too annoyed by the artifacts on my voice. And again, I will apologize before you start listening, just because, again, I can't get rid of it. But that being said, it was a great conversation. So please enjoy. Thank you. Okay, what a pleasure. Thank you very much for tuning in again. I have a guest, as you can see, and back on the show, Zack Bonfilio, known as the Misfit Patriot. This man has worked hard to get where he is on social media. You got a huge following. You're making waves. You're on all kinds of shows, debates, everything. I appreciate you making the time to be here, man. It's been a while. And a lot has happened. And recently, I want to talk to you about a few things. But first off, what about the celebration? I want to talk about that first, because there was a whole lot. Yeah. There was a whole lot.
Yeah. You say I worked hard. It's like, did I work hard, or did I put in a lot of I say this all the time. I go I actually don't try to do the internet. I just do the internet. Right. And so I really do approach this whole experiment here with what I believed the original intention of the internet was, which was social media. Right. You're on the internet to be social. You're on the internet to give your opinions, give your thoughts, give your beliefs. But you're right. So many people have turned it into a business model. I have people that are like, here's how you maximize your algorithm. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. My buddy Amiri King, I don't know if you heard of him. Yeah. He's like, I put into Chat GPT. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're going to piss off these people or that people, which I just did again today. I don't care. I'm of the belief that you just grab your phone or grab your tweet or whatever, say what you want to say, and then just say it. But I think that it's also, there are people that can take an approach of a business model to the internet and make it valuable. Charlie Kirk, for instance,
True.
and others, but too many grifters for sure.
Oh yeah.
And and I forgot your question. Because that was just on the back of my mind.
That's all good, because that's some of the stuff I do want to get into. We'll get into that a little bit later. But first, I wanted to get your thoughts, because before we recorded, when it was happening, basically, we're scheduling this, we're both texting about the Freedom 250 UFC event.
That's what it was.
Yeah. And online, there's all the chatter. Of course, all the Democrats are just like, this is a farce, this is a circus, but at the same time, denying everything that happened under the Biden administration. While he was in office, with half-naked people running around and whatnot. I'm like, come on. So, I thought it was awesome. Okay. And I'm going to be honest with you, Zack. It's not something I thought I'd see at the White House. I thought I'd see something a little more refined, but I have to eat my words a bit, because it was very well put together. The production was really good. It was solid, smooth. Everything, from the fireworks, the flyover, everything was well done.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think? Because to me, I think that represents America. I mean, that is about as American as you can get to me.
I think it exceeded everybody's expectations, even the people that hated it, the people that loved it. It exceeded my expectations because I thought it was going to be good. I thought it was going to be good.
Right.
You know, the left wanted it to be fire and brimstone. They were reporting, flies and locusts and what have you, and it exceeded their expectations. But it what it reminded me, I've been working with LFA now for a few months, and I'm very big on.
Yeah.
I'm very big on making sure that I'm accountable to myself, and when I say I'm going to be somewhere, I'm going to be somewhere. I have only missed one show, and it was the morning after Freedom 250 because I was up until 3:00 in the morning celebrating because I was so pumped up watching this thing. Not only was, like you said, the production amazing, the fighters put on.
Yes.
You can't fake MMA. I've trained MMA. You can't fake it.
No.
I mean, technically you could, but it's very difficult to do. 7 out of 7 fights TKOs or knockouts. Justin Gaethje's fight, he wasn't supposed to win.
No.
Right? Like he
was
wasn't supposed to win. Topuria is a beast. And even the way Topuria lost was he lost like a beast, right? Where they had to stop him because he was like, I'll go in there blind. So they both deserve respect. But I made a post after the event, the day after the event, and I go, what better way to represent America than an underdog coming out and just fighting with grit and will and just the American flag draped across his back, looking at the Declaration of Independence. It's like, that's America. We weren't supposed to be here. The British should have won, but they didn't. And if you love something enough and if you fight hard enough for something, you can just make that happen. So I was very not like super emotional, like boo hoo, emotional, kind of like rah. And I ended up staying up until even after the event ended. I could not fall asleep. My show started at 8 a.m. I think I went to bed around 3:45 a.m. I woke up at 6, which I can do. And I did that thing where you go, the alarm worked, and then you go, okay, 5 more minutes, and then you open your eyes and it's 8:45. So I had to apologize to my producer and everything. But that's how good it was. I was not missing that for the world. It was just, and they exceeded expectations for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. The fight card was good. All the fighters are good. Gaethje was a killer. I mean, it was a really, really good fight.
No, dude, he's got hammers for fists.
Definitely.
I mean, but even still, he still should not have won.
No, he wasn't supposed to. I mean, he was the underdog for sure. But aside from that, they were celebrating the veterans, giving veterans like upfront seating and honoring the military. And then, like you said, the Democrats did not want this to be good. And then they pull back the camera. It's like, well, you don't see that many people there. But then all of a sudden you have this other section where they're showing it on these giant LED walls. And it's like, holy God, they had over 80,000 people there to celebrate.
And they would have had more. They capped it. They capped it at 80,000. If that place would have looked like January 6th.
Absolutely.
If they allowed it, but they weren't going to do that. I mean, there's a good reason for that. I mean, there was almost a terrorist attack. There was almost.
Well, you have to control security, but did you see what the Dems try to do with their counter production or broadcast to fight against?
It was not this time. Or it looked like what it reminded me of.
I'm sure you saw clips.
Well, I saw clips, but it reminded me of like a PBS special at 2:00 in the afternoon, right? Where it's like you're just scrolling through the channels. Like you and me are old enough to remember this when you had the TV that had. I think we had 15 channels, 15.
Yeah.
And you just go and click, click, click. And then you see that.
Right.
And you're like, oh, it's PBS, right? Where it's like, it's not necessarily Sesame Street or Mr. Rogers. It's like the B-movie version of it. And that's like, if you're going to do a count, like Erica Kirk, TP USA, Kid Rock, they did the counter programming for the Super Bowl halftime show.
Right.
And it was good. It more people watched than that. If you're going to do a counter programming show and that's it, you probably shouldn't do it at all.
No,
it was just pathetic. Yeah,
it was sad, and it also speaks to the divide we have in America. I mean, look, you've always been a big proponent for Trump and supporting Trump and MAGA, and the unfortunate thing to see in America is they would rather see America burn, all because they hate Trump that much. They would rather him not get the credit just so they can say that their side won, which is ridiculous. And to me, the sides is the problem. Like, left versus right, the whole thing is just stupid.
I call it the pilot paradox, right?
Mhm.
Where it's the Democrats and the left have become a passenger on an airplane that wants the plane to crash because Trump is the pilot.
Absolutely.
And it's like, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna die. I don't care. I hate him so much. They hate him so much that they want this country to burn to the ground.
Absolutely.
And we're seeing it kind of happen too with I call them the woke right, but you can call them the reactionary right, the far right, the dissident right. I don't care what you call them, but the Nick Fuentes Groyper stupidity crowd, that they're like, we just want to be accelerationists now. And it's like, okay, do you realize that is the pilot paradox? You want to burn the country down because you don't like how it's going, right? The founding fathers, the framers, put this constitutional republic together in such a way where if things aren't going well, we get to change it. And you want to burn that down and install a system where they don't have that freedom, which doesn't make any sense to me. It's almost like it's intentional. And I hate doing the Candace Owens, or the Ian Carroll, just asking questions type of thing. But it feels like it's a psyop. It feels like it is a psyop, and it's becoming more and more prevalent that it is a psyop. I mean, right now you have people that are literally protesting the algae in the pool outside of the reflecting pool. There's people that are pro algae. They're like, I want the algae back because I need the pilot paradox. I need this to fail too. They're throwing hydrogen peroxide in it. Stop it.
Right.
Don't fix it. Don't fix the country. Don't clean up DC. Don't stop crime. Don't close the border. Don't stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. Don't, because if you do anything good, people might think that you're a good president. And it's like, I wanted Joe Biden to be a good president. He wasn't.
Right.
I wanted him to be. He just wasn't.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said it, because in the end, my take has always been, I want to respect the presidency, right?
Yeah.
Whether he's a Democrat, Republican, to me, in the end, once you get in that office, that shouldn't matter anymore. Your priority is steering the ship. Your priority is making sure that whatever's best for America is what you need to do, regardless of whatever party that you sided with before you got into office. And I was with you on that. I think Joe, unfortunately, didn't work out, but he's also had such a long history of being such a bad politician, a bad senator, bad VP. And the fact that he was their guy at that time was just ridiculous. But, everyone always brings up Joe Biden all the time. And it's like, look, the guy is what he was.
It's over.
Yeah, it's over.
It's over. That guy, honestly, like that. I'm actually glad the way that he just sort of exited, like where it was like, thank God. I mean, right. He really is like, who? No, it was only like a year and a half or 2. Like, yeah, it wasn't even 2 years ago. And it's like, who?
It was so bad they had to try to push Kamala in, which and of course that was the person on the bench that was next up to bat. Like, really?
Well, I mean, they're literally their bench, their roster is just awful.
They have nobody.
It really is. I mean, who's the leader of the? I say this on my show. I go, who's the leader of the Democrat Party right now? AOC.
Yeah.
Right. That's
I
it.
mean,
yeah.
I would
Mamdani,
say
it's AOC for sure. It's not. I mean, it's not Mamdani because he's new. It's Bernie Sanders, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, which is like they are now installing Graham Plattner in Maine, which is like they're not learning. And this is the problem. They're not learning their lesson, right? And when it becomes that, right? When it becomes, okay, you guys got smoked when you went far left by Trump. You installed Trump again. What would be the reasonable, rational thinking human being's reaction to that? I would correct that problem. Okay, we went far left. We should probably go more moderate. They went, nope. They went, we're going to Mamdani. We're going to get the guy, what's his name? Jay Jones. The other guy, I think it's New Jersey, who defended a 9/11 1993 World Trade Center attack terrorist. They got, and now there's 2 DSA candidates. One is the one in DC. They're not slowing down.
They're not slowing down. Yeah.
What we as on the right should do is not stop them. Right. Never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. However, learning from their mistakes and trying to slow down the radicalism on our side, that is a good idea, which is why I fight against the woke right.
Well, of course. So You brought up earlier about the FBI catching the 5 guys who allegedly were planning this attack while Freedom 250 was going on. We can touch on that now or later in the conversation if you like, because I do want to talk about the Iran MOU, and that might tie in a bit. But
I think we'll talk about it now because it actually flows into something that we were just talking about with the extremism on both sides, right? You have one of the potential terrorist attackers, a 19-year-old kid, who was talking about how they were into anti-capitalist and it was like anti-capitalist, like something, right? And that sounds a lot like Antifa. That sounds like far left, right? Then you have another one, Michael Thomas, I think it was, or something like that. He was saying that his motivation was the Epstein files and the Trump administration is eating babies or something like that. That's a Q. That's a Q person. That's a QAnon person. So I think that you literally had a signal chat or a group of people on both the woke right and the woke left who were accelerationist versus a straight up just like radical leftist terrorist, right? Who were coming together and they were going, look, we neither of us are getting our way. The way we're going to deal with it is we're going to put together this thing where we're going to murder a bunch of innocent people, right? One of them is on the right, the other one's on the left, right? So they're going to murder a bunch of innocent people. I don't think any of them had the notion that they were going to get to Trump. They were setting it up so that they were going to fly drones into nearby buildings, and then when the crowd of people were to run away, they were going to start picking them off with a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
So their target wasn't Trump.
Well,
right? I mean, not really. There was a secondary attack that was. Yeah, but there was a secondary attack that was going to try to storm. I think that they weren't stupid enough to think that they were going to make a 1,000-yard shot from a building far away and try to take out Trump. So their goal was to try to kill innocent people. You have them on both sides.
I got the DOJ website up here on this, and everything you said is correct. What's interesting that I found is there was I think it was at least 2. I'm just scanning this, so or 3 people that were from California, right?
Yeah.
And when you read the names, I mean, right when you say terrorist, people are thinking Middle Eastern people, but no, you got Tyson Proper, Brian Roa, Michael Thomas, Daniel Eskridge, Abraham Alvarez, and everything that you said is correct. It's like these guys were eating up this Marxist-Socialist narrative that's been pushed by the left since Joe Biden got in office, honestly, and maybe a little bit before that. And it's gotten worse and worse and worse. I mean, they've just been so vehemently strong behind this messages and pushing it so strongly that it's working. I mean, this long, slow drip of this Marxist-Socialist narrative is finally working to the fact that it's turning people's minds. And we have 5 individuals here who have a beef with the government because things aren't going their way. They hate capitalism. Yeah. They don't like how our government's going because it doesn't represent them, right? But what version are they trying to get? They want to destroy it, so it's their own utopia, right?
That's the part that you get if you ask Nick Fuentes or somebody else a follow up. That's where they don't think that far ahead,
right?
Nick, you want to burn the system down and install a new system. Okay, who do you want to install?
Exactly.
His answer is they'll arise, or they will. Who's they? They don't even know what they're gonna do when they burn it down. They don't have any backup. Okay, we have a revolution. All right, we have a revolution. Okay, I'm sure that you, with your little 115-pound soaking wet ass, isn't actually going to be fighting. You're going to be the guy that's going, yeah, go here, go there. Okay, you have the revolution, right? Now the guns and you take over the White House and you kill the people in charge. Now you're all in the building, right? You're running America. What's the first thing you do?
Yeah.
Right?
You know what?
You got to institute a new government, right? Who's your guy? Thomas Massey?
No.
I mean, who the fuck is your guy? I don't know.
That's the problem we have here is they want to destroy a system, but to do that, they got to implement what? A fucking system.
Well,
they got to put another system.
Yes.
And then
the founders and framers thought that far ahead.
In the end, everything you're fighting because you don't want what you're calling authoritarianism or fascism, which isn't really authoritarianism, fascism whatsoever, you're still going to have to answer to who? Someone above you. Someone's going to run something. So this whole idea of this grand utopia that they have, they're going to end up being subjugated to the powers that be, because again, someone's going to get corrupt, someone's going to take advantage of the system, and they're going to be back in the same fucking place, probably with less freedoms or no freedoms, and that's what's going to happen.
Well, that's the other thing. These people are authoritarian. They're romanticizing authoritarianism.
Yes, they are.
Right. If you look at who they're on both sides, right? So my new background here, I'm pretty impressed with
it.
Right, I decided to do the blue and the red thing, the theme, right?
It looks good.
So you have the woke left, right? They're romanticizing people like Hugo Chavez or Mao Zedong, like communists, right?
Yes.
And then you have the right, and they're romanticizing people like Hitler and Stalin and Lenin, right? And it's like, so you have these authoritarians that you're romanticizing. So one could only assume that if you ever like pulled off your revolution, that's what you would do, right? Yeah. So like, if we are saying that these people on both sides are not a problem, because if they ever actually achieved their goals, they would give us freedom. Get out of here, dude. No, they won't. They really do want they want power and control because they're unhappy people. They're mainly narcissists. They're actually, I wouldn't even go that far. I think that a lot of these people, they're really like lonely people that need a group. They need to feel like they're part of something.
Yeah.
They join these groups. And I think predators like Nick Fuentes, Andrew Tate, the whole entire Democrat Party, right? Because they target youth, right? And this is why they killed Charlie Kirk, in my opinion. In my opinion, they killed Charlie Kirk because he was effectively unindoctrinating the youth. He wasn't grooming the youth. He was targeting the youth by going to colleges, but he was unindoctrinating them. He wasn't doing what they are doing by going and saying, this is what you believe. What he would do is he would sit in front of them and he'd be like, tell me what you believe and I'll tell you why you were lied to. And they couldn't have that because the youth is how they do it. The youth is stupid. I mean, I'm not being insulting. I'm being accurately descriptive. Usually the youth is I guess you'd say like naive people. When I was younger, I was stupid. You know
what it is, Zach, is this is straight out of the Marxist playbook, and actually also the Russian playbook for how to change and take over society. So it's a long, again, going back to slow drip theory here. And they target higher education because we're still young, brains are malleable, and you could get them to buy into whatever narrative you want to drive into their brains because you're letting them know that at this institution, this is the standard of education, and this is what you should walk away believing. And they buy into it. They don't question it because if they do, they either get kicked out, ousted, or they just get low grades. So they get punished for not thinking their way. And that's how they're doing it. So that's why they're attacking the youth. They're building their army, man. That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, this is what I was just recently speaking at, combat anti-Semitism conference. And part of my speech was, I go, like, and this applies to pretty much everything, but specifically in the context of anti-Semitism, I'm like, most of the people we're dealing with, they're not actually anti-Semites, right? Like, I mean, these, like, what you're dealing with, right, is like trans Nazis, right? They're dressing like Nazis, but they're not really Nazis. Like anti-Semitism has been monetized, right? And outrage culture in general has been monetized. These people don't believe what they're saying. If we're in a culture right now where OnlyFans is a career choice, do you really think that you're going to be able to combat, right, morals over monetization? You're not, right? How do you attack this problem when these people don't even believe what they're saying, right? Nick Fuentes is a Mexican white supremacist. Myron Gaines is a Sudanese Nazi. How do you combat this when they don't believe what they're saying? It's just for clicks and outrage. And the answer is you don't, because you're right. They're building their army. What you do is you build yours, right? You don't try to convince your attacker to lay down their sword because you're not a threat. You pick up your sword because they are a threat. And what you do is you use your voice and you build your army. You build your coalition the same way you and me are doing by using your voice in a truthful way, like Charlie Kirk did. Charlie Kirk built an army with TPUSA, right? And that's exactly what you do.
I think the thing with Charlie is he actually cared, though.
I care. You care.
I think
that a lot of people care.
I mean, compared to like these other guys, not saying you, but I'm saying he came across genuine because he really did care. You can tell, and that's how he attracted so many people. And these other guys you just brought up.
He was the happy warrior. Yeah. I am not. I say he's better than me. I do. I give him that credit. Wearing his hat, I got the TPUSA tattoo after he passed. And I'm friends with a lot of people, Andrew and Blake and all them.
Right.
But here's the thing: it's like Charlie was a happy warrior, right? And I think we need them. And I'm not saying that. I'm saying there should be a balance between people like Charlie Kirk and people like me. Because I come out and I'm just like, you're retarded, here's why, right? He came out and he goes, I'd like to hear your opinion so I can change your mind, right?
Right.
We're both saying the same thing. I'm saying it a little bit more aggressively. And I think that, you need generals, and then you need, every once in a while, I don't want to compare myself to Russell Crowe and Gladiator, but you really do. You need the guy who's willing to just go, I'm going in, I'm getting bloody. And Charlie did that too, but in a very different way.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being blunt. I mean, I've I got my fans and not fans for that myself, and I don't hold my tongue. But the thing is, let's talk about how we're going to keep the country on track. We know the Democrats are kind of lost. Well, they are lost. They have nothing. They have no representatives. They have no policy. Everything they run on, even what's going on in the primaries,
what is
there's the midterm. Yeah, there is no policy outside of let's keep Trump out and fuck guys.
Well, I ask all the time. Yeah, I ask all the time. I ask people on their side, what's the Democrat policy? They don't have an answer.
They don't have one, Zach.
No, it's Trump bad.
But that being said, we have control of Congress, right? House, Senate, and we might lose it all because of the damn infighting within the conservative party. And this is going to segue to what you and I talked about offline. Okay, so let's talk about America First versus MAGA. Okay, is there really a rift? And also, is the America Firsters and the MAGA, were they ever really aligned, or is all of this a grift just to get the likes and clicks and just back the current thing? Like, what is your, and let's talk about that walk away that happened, right? That just happened. America First versus the Great MAGA Divide had like Owen Schroyer, Josie, who else? Gavin McGinnis. Okay, so what's your thought on this America First versus MAGA? Like, what is it?
So here's what I think. I think that for the majority, with the exception of, I don't even think Owen Schroyer maybe. But hold on. Let's give him benefit of the doubt. With the exception of Owen Schroyer, let's give Owen the benefit of doubt and say he was MAGA the whole time. Okay. I don't think so, but because I mean, if you're a conspiracy theorist, like you're not like a constitutionalist. You're more of like a sensationalist grifter. So that's why I'm being careful of that. But to your other points, right? Like Josie, redheaded libertarian. That's not a walk away movement. Where were you walked in like 5 minutes ago, right? Like, and that's the thing. A lot of these people who are leading the walk away movement. Dave Smith, you're not MAGA.
No.
Right? Who the hell are you? You're not MAGA. Tucker Carlson, you're not MAGA. Candace Owens, you're not MAGA. I mean, Candace Owens probably felt more MAGA at one point, but was she ever really, or was she hiding in plain sight? Nick Fuentes, never MAGA.
No.
So what we have this narrative that there's a walk away movement, but when you look at the people who are walking away, they're not really MAGA. Can they inspire real MAGA to walk away? That's the question. And yes, they can. In numbers that I see actually damaging, not really. But I have had, here's the way I see it, right? I've had friends of mine who are not MAGA, are kind of apolitical, but definitely Republican conservative leaning.
Right.
And they say something along the lines of, I actually like what Nick Fuentes says. I like Andrew Tate. I like this. And I'm like, and I sit them down for maybe 4 minutes. And by the end of that conversation, they go, I didn't know all that. Right. So they're banking on people who are not necessarily informed. They're banking on people who are scrolling on social media. Now, I might have talked to you about this last time, and I'm going to bring it up again, maybe, unless I didn't. But I think I talked about the statistics of the amount of people that are actually online, and it's very low. It's very low. It's actually, I think there's only like 25 to 32% of total Americans are on X, which is the largest platform.
Yeah.
And out of that 25 to 30%, how many of them are actually on X being political? Because there's different algorithms for everybody. And I would say half, right? So that let's cut that down to, 10, 15%. Out of that 10 to 15%, you have people on the left and you have people on the right. So you have 7.5%, 7.5%. Out of that 7.5%, you really have hardcore, maybe 2.5%. So really we have about, what are we looking at? We're looking at 2 to 5% of the country who's like a hardcore, like I'm into politics and I'm online every day following, which is why you feel like it's always the same 10 to 15 people
Yes.
talking, because there actually isn't that many people in this circle.
Okay, so I actually broke that down on a show of mine before. And what I was doing is I was focusing on Dave Smith because he talks a lot. And I'm not going to keep this just about personalities, but just using this example. So I did what you just did. And what I found was it was like literally you got 330 million people in the US. You go by voter aged individuals. And so as you break it down, I think less than 20% of voter aged people or individuals are actually on X engaging. It's like,
Yeah.
And then when you look at that number and you look at people's followings, for example, like Dave, I think he had 850,000, whatever. But if you look at who's actually being targeted and actually listening and watching, like that whole influence thing that people can't think they have it like shrinks down big time.
It's super small.
And then it also leads to, and I know you've brought this up before. It's like, how many of these guys are not just botted accounts? Because it seems like people think that their social media is the benchmark for their influence in the real world. And it's like in the real world, nobody even knows these people. Like if you go to work and just bring up some of these personalities, you're like, who's that?
I did it. I did it with Nick. I did it with Nick Fuentes and Dave Smith. I asked like five. It was at the bar. It was like I was like drinking with my buddy, and because we were talking about it, I told him, I go, nobody knows who they are, and he goes, bullshit. And I was like, watch.
It's true.
And I literally walked around the entire bar. And I know it's a small sample size and it's very specific, but walked around literally 15 people in the bar. I walked around to probably 10 of them. You know who Nick Fuentes is? No. You know who Dave Smith is? No. You know who Nick Fuentes is? No. You know who Dave Smith is? No. One person out of like 15 was like, yeah. And that's the thing, right? So, and what I'm saying is, well, they do have influence, but if you look at, let's say, Rumble, which is what I'm on, the numbers are so much lower than YouTube.
Yes.
It's really low, right? And you would think is like, oh, that means that like less people are on Rumble. Not really. What it means is most likely YouTube's just botted, and X is super botted. TikTok is super botted. But Chris Pavlovsky, he wants a free speech platform, but he wants a platform that's also real users, and there's not as much of that, foreign influence on there. Like, I mean, Bongino, I think he does somewhere around like 80,000 viewers. He's like literally like the number one podcaster in the conservative space.
Oh, hell, Steven Crowder's huge, man. Every time he does a live stream.
Steven Crowder does like 55,000. And that's a lot, dude. I do 2,000. I do 2,000 daily. And that's a lot. I mean,
that's actually really good, dude.
That's a lot of real people.
You know what I say
on a daily basis?
This is the way I look at this, Zach. It's like when you look at, well, I don't stream. So to me, streaming is a whole different world. It really is. It's like it's a different audience. And for you doing 2,000 a day, because I'm in the entertainment, but like I do events for concerts and all that. So that's what I actually do is live production. And I'll tell you right now, if you stood in a theater that was 2,000 seats and you say that's every day, like imagine that. That is crazy that you can say I talk to 2,000 people every day that are willing to tune in and hear whatever the hell I have to say. Right.
Yeah. And you're right. Nuts. Yeah. And I'm not saying that, every person in Candace's chat is fake. She probably has thousands of, no, I'm not even saying probably. She has thousands, Tucker has thousands of people. But I think that it's a lot of astroturf fake engagement to push narratives. And I think that YouTube is a big proprietor of that. I think that they're in on the Psyop. I think that they're in on the grift, where it's like, and I know for a fact that Elon knows. I mean, I don't have a smoking gun. I don't have any internal documents. I'm just using common sense and critical thinking. But I know that Elon knows that his app is heavily botted, right?
It
But
is.
here's the thing: they don't care because advertisers are looking for numbers. They're looking for analytics. They're not looking for, is this real? They're looking for, can we sell it? And when you can sell it with, this is how many people, then that's how they're doing it. So they're maybe unwittingly contributing to this operation to take over our minds through influence by using influencers. And that's the problem. I mean, I'm not an influencer. I'm a content creator. I run a live show the same way. I'm a host on a show the same way a Fox News host is.
Right.
We have with LFA, it's a live stream, but I'm not a live streamer. It's a show. It's from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. We have different hosts that are delivering you the news all day, very similar to a network. So it's more like network television online.
I get it. So here's what I'm going to say about the botted thing, because I actually know a lot about that, especially being on the podcast side. YouTube in and of itself has aggressive AI and algorithms that will actually strike a lot of that out. They will go after it and get rid of it. But here's the caveat, and they've admitted this. If certain individuals or personalities are big, let's say it's like a Piers Morgan, right? Just use him as an example because everybody knows who he is pretty much. They'll give that person leeway. They know all of the guys are buying these bots. They know they are because they know it's going to get that boost in the algorithm. And then all of a sudden people start, oh, what's this video? They know that. But if a guy like me, for example, who's much smaller does it, I'll get a strike and they'll suspend my channel, right? So it's just economies of scale. It's like, well, this guy's bringing eyeballs for advertisement, like you said. Me, not as much. So like, yeah, screw this guy, right? And so that's just how it goes.
And I don't think it's nefarious. I don't on their end, on Elon's end, and YouTube's end. I don't think it's nefarious. I think it's greed. I really do. But at the same time, I wish somebody would really sit them down and be like not like you can sit them down. They probably won't care. But if you could convince them, be like, hey, I know that you're making a lot of money, but do you realize what you're doing? Do you realize that you are aiding and abetting foreign adversaries to take over the minds of our young, like just our youth, our whole generation of people, so that they believe that Charlie Kirk was killed by a bee cult? Yes. Do you realize that's what you're doing? Well, is it worth the Riverbend Ranch advertisement on Candace's platform? Is it worth it? All right, because we're going to be fucked in like 20 years, dude. And I doubt that they would care. But no, I mean,
it's all about the money. Literally, it's all about the money. It really is. But I'm telling you right now, all these guys are botted. All of them. I don't care if it's Tucker. I don't care who it is. And when it comes to Tucker, look, the guy's been fired from every damn job he's been on, and all of a sudden he has the largest podcast. Of course, some of these guys have money you and I won't compete with. Like, we don't have, let's say, the $60,000 a month advertising budget every single month. But beyond that, they are buying fake engagement, and I know that for a fact. And if anyone wants to fact check me, just look it up, man. It's out there. It's like they're slowly admitting it.
What is it? Social credit score or some shit where you can look at how their analytics work, and it just doesn't make sense. It's kind of like saying the 2020 election was stolen, and it's like, you can't prove it. I go, I looked at the fucking chart, dude. That's my proof. My proof is I saw the fucking thing go like that. Right? Like that's my proof. I saw the fucking thing go like that.
You mean the LA California mayoral primary?
yeah, exactly. It's like Spencer Pratt. You think he lost like legitimately, dude?
Oh, man, that was crazy how Nithya Raman suddenly had literally double the votes the next morning. Like, she went from 70,000 to 150,000.
She made a freaking concession speech. She didn't even know what was happening.
Yeah. Well,
no.
So to get back to what we're talking about with this whole MAGA America First thing, yes, you're right. There's bots, and yes, unfortunately, these botted people, they get priority and they get in front of people's faces and they get the eyeballs, and that lets them get the narratives and messages out, which is horrible because, you know, guys like you telling the truth. I mean, for as many followers as you have, you're still not going to get, let's say, what a Tucker does. And I just use him because he's a famous name. You know, he has millions of followers versus, I mean, you actually have 150 now?
Yeah, around 100, 115, 137
I mean, that's
on Instagram.
That's quite a bit.
But they're all real. I've never purchased a single follower. I don't know, if somebody else has or what, but I doubt it. But the thing is, it's like you said, right? If you look at it like, if you were to take the people that you're actually talking to, you're actually having a conversation with, people are actually interested,
Yes.
and you fill a crowd and you fill a theater with them, right? I would say that my theater would be filled with a bunch of, patriotic Americans who are like, really trying to understand what's going on a daily basis in the world and in the country. Then you take Candace Owens' audience, right? It's a bunch of stay-at-home moms and a bunch of apolitical, just drama. It's the people that watch Jerry Springer, right? It'll look like a trailer park in her
That's
theater,
funny.
and it wouldn't look like that in my theater. And she might fill a bigger theater, but who gives a shit, right? Like,
Well,
I mean, if you fill your tent with shit, you have a shitty tent.
yeah,
That's how it works.
I think Candace, my opinion, Candace is an entertainer at this point.
Yeah,
that's exactly what she is.
Tucker Carlson would look like a UAE summit, right? Like, I mean, like freaking,
right?
Like Tucker Carlson would just look like a bunch of. They'd just be stoning a woman to death in the corner.
Yeah, dude, you're probably not wrong on that. All right, so let's talk about the conservatives again. Where do you think the split came from? Why is this message being driven so much? Why are people trying to be convinced that there is a split in the Conservative Party?
I'll tell you exactly why. I asked somebody to draw me like a visual of this, because I sort of discovered it while I was talking on a podcast, and I labeled it the threat pyramid. Right. What I think is happening is it's mainly coming from China. Not necessarily China like Xi Jinping, but the people that are aligned with the Chinese Communist Party, the New World Order, the George Soros types, the globalist agenda. Okay, let's call it that. And China would be the biggest threat to this country, because they're aligned with that globalist agenda, which is probably why you saw Tucker Carlson having a CCP tutor on his show, where he was talking about, we need a central digital bank currency and we need to share power with the Communist Party. And Tucker is like, oh, that sounds great. It's like, what? But anyway, so at the top of the pyramid, let's say you have China. Underneath it, you have proxies, okay? The proxies would be Iran, Venezuela, Cuba, Canada, probably, a couple others, right? And you have these sort of like an octopus with these arms out there, and those are the arms. And then under that, you have NGOs, Code Pink, right? And that's where we get into your question, right? Code Pink, the PLO, the Answer Coalition, what have you. And you see like people like Thomas Massie, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, conservatives, right? Candace Owens, and others. And they all seem to be sort of aligned. Like Thomas Massie had the Democratic Socialists of America with IPAC in his tent. One of his donors, Jeff Yass, is which is hilarious, because it's a Jewish billionaire Zionist. And Thomas Massie's main message was Jewish billionaire Zionists are the reason why I lost my race. It's like, you have one. But completely different type of Jewish billionaire Zionist, right? Like George Soros is a Jewish billionaire, right?
Yeah,
Not a Zionist, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so top pyramid, China. Then you have the proxies, which are different countries pretty much that are aiding them. They're sort of their sources of income, right? You have China getting money. Costa Rica, which is funny because Marjorie Taylor Greene went there. Costa Rica is sort of an ally with China. You have them with the Venezuela, the cartels, where they funnel their fentanyl through Canada and through Mexico. You have all of these people, and it all sort of leads upward to China. Underneath the NGOs, you have the institutions, both online and in our educational system, right? So you have the colleges, and then you have TikTok University. And right under that, you have what we've all labeled Podcastistan. Yeah. Right, which is the actual influencers, right? Yes. Not the institutions, but the influencers. These are the professors, right? So if you look at it like a pyramid, right, the largest chunk is the influencers. Then you go up to the institution, gets a little bit smaller. Then you go up to the NGOs, gets a little bit smaller. Then you go up to the proxies, gets a little bit smaller. And if you really think about it, all of this sort of leads upward in a direction to the New World Order globalist agenda, which is the main driver in what's trying to divide America. And Yuri Bezmenov talked about this. Who's one of China's partners? Russia, right? Where was Candace Owens a couple of weeks ago? Fucking Russia. It really does make sense when you look at it that way, when you look at it almost like a pyramid scheme where you have people recruiting all the way down and getting bigger and bigger and wider and wider. So I think that that is the driver for the divide. It's just like what Yuri Bezmenov talked about, but you need a visual representation of it in that it is a pyramid scheme where at the top you have China and the New World Order and the globalist agenda using NGOs, using proxies, using influencers, and using institutions to divide this country so that they can take it over.
Okay. So, and you said that means that these influencers we're talking about, these people that are in opposition to MAGA, these they're calling themselves American Firsters, right? For example, the Tuckers, all that. That means that they are willing participants and taking this money, knowing exactly what they're doing. Okay. So,
or useful idiots. They could be
that.
they could also not be aware of it because if you think about it, right, they might just be seeing their paycheck increase. They might just be seeing that. Yeah. They might just be going, "Hey, I'm actually the most famous podcaster ever," and they might be so stupid that they think that.
Yeah,
right. Ian Carroll might think that he's the most popular person on the internet, right? Like,
so getting back to what you said though, I don't know if you know, but I do have a few people that actually still work in Intel, and we do talk, and sometimes I have them on the shows. And I'm going to tell you for a fact that your theory here, your pyramid theory, is pretty much spot on. So it is China and Russia, and what you're talking about. The Caribbean over here. We talk about Venezuela, Peru, South America. A lot of that has been a hotbed for Chinese influence, all because their Belt and Road Initiative. Also, they've been investing heavily into infrastructure with Peru, with Venezuela, and also there has been Iran. Okay, they've actually been, and Iran actually was setting up in Venezuela actual facilities to where they can train people. They were actually working on training Venezuelan military, as well as having Hamas soldiers there, putting together another place to where they could use as a training facility and launch pad. And the same thing was starting to happen in Cuba. So
Cuba, which is 90 miles off the coast. Exactly.
Yep, 95 miles.
You had Hezbollah training camps an hour and a half from Florida, right?
Exactly.
It's like,
but nobody wants to believe any of that. They think those are the conspiracy theories when they're actually proven to be true. And it's known.
I know.
It's actually known.
I'm going to send you right now the threat pyramid image. And I don't know if you want to put it on the screen or not, but that's a rough draft that I had put up. But if I wanted to make that a better image, I would split the top pyramid between China and Russia, like you said. I would add all of the proxies. And actually, if you want to go ahead and try to tighten that up, I just sort of lost interest in it. But essentially, it's like I'm such a busy guy. I go, can somebody make me a thing?
I get it.
But it really, when you get that visualization and you look at it kind of like the same way you would look at like when some Avon lady's trying to sell you, the new fat loss pill. And it's like, and you're like, all right, you're going to make this much money if you sell this many things.
Right.
It's the same thing with influence, right? It's like, you're going to make money if you sell more influence. So while I'm not sure if every person who's part of the coalition, like you said, is a willing participant or a useful idiot, I think that anyone with the critical thinking skills of a grapefruit would know that they're not saying what they believe. They're saying what the customer wants to hear, and who's targeting, what customers are you targeting and why. So they'd probably be able to.
So here's the tell. Here's the tell and all of that. Tucker loved Israel. Now hates Israel.
Yeah.
Loves. Okay.
It's always
there's that. You got Owen. We just brought him up just because. Okay, Alex Jones, conspiracy guy, got fired, started his own thing, gets traction. MAGA this, back Trump. Now I'm America first, and everything Trump does sucks. Okay, it's all, and they also hate Israel now, right? So it's like you see the 180, man. It's like they flip and flop depending on which way the wind is changing in order for them to get likes, clicks, and engagement for, like you said, money. It's so obvious, and they think they're hiding
the common denominator is often Israel, almost always, actually.
Yeah, but and Nick Fuentes is a big one too. Same thing.
Tucker Carlson said something that was just it really baffled me, and a lot of people just glazed over it. But he had on that Chinese professor, right? And I can't remember the guy's name, Chinese sounding name, right? But if you know the backstory about this guy was a journalist, right? And in 2003 or 2001 or something like around that time, he went to China and he was arrested as a spy, right? And the CCP arrested him and sent him back to Canada as a journalist, right? Who they suspected as being a spy. And a year later, he moves to China and he takes a job as a teacher working for the government, which makes no sense at all.
No.
It's like, wait a minute, China invited you back after they arrested you for being a spy and they let you go for some reason. And a year later, you're not coming back to work in journalism. You're coming to work in a field that you're not even part of. And for the past, 20 something years, he's been a teacher in China. And as you know, the entire educational institution in China is run by the government. So
Absolutely.
anything that it doesn't matter. And he's like, oh, it's a private institution. There is no such thing as a private institution in China.
No.
Right? Everything is under the umbrella of the Communist Party education system. So essentially what he is he is a CCP educator, right? Now, he's on Tucker and he's talking about the only way that this moves forward is if America shares power with China and we have a central digital bank currency. And Tucker's like, yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. That's not the crazy part. Tucker comes out after he says that, and Tucker goes, I think that everything that you're saying is it just makes so much sense. And there's only one country that's really standing in the way, and that's Israel. And I was like, I go, Tucker, that's the first thing that you said that actually is 100% true. Like, they know that Israel is the greatest threat to them because they are in the Middle East and not in the West. They're in the Middle East and they are a democracy that's thriving and fighting their enemies. And Iran is probably one of the largest weapons that China had. Yeah. I'm saying had because 2-3 months ago, it would have been a have. Oh. And I look at what Trump is doing. Okay. And this is why I give him so much credit. And I could be wrong, but I don't think that this is a coincidence. He goes after and he designates Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization in America. Who's Antifa funded by? China, right? Antifa is funded by NGOs that are connected to China, right? Code Pink, all of them.
You know what's crazy? Can I interject real quick? Because when you brought up Israel, you know how not everyone, the narrative being pushed by the opposites, the other people here that we're talking about, how Israel owns the government. They fund, they fund campaigns and everything to overthrow everybody. And what's funny is I just did an episode on this, and the largest contributor to changing policy in America that is not actually listed, but is actually doing it, and you can even find this in Open Secrets, is China. By far,
it's China.
Israel doesn't even make the top 10.
It's like I think it's like 2.5, like 200, not 250, 25 times I think as much influence.
It's nuts.
It's way worse,
and no one's talking about it.
No, because that's the thing. It's like what Israel is it's like it's straight out of the Communist Manifesto. Accuse them of what you yourself are doing. Yep. But anyway, like I was saying, what Trump did with Antifa, he also did with the narco terrorists in Mexico and in Venezuela, right? And then he actually went after Maduro. And then he went after, he wants Greenland, right? And then he went after Canada, talking about, I want Canada to be the 51st state. And then he went after Iran. And then he went, and I'm looking at him and I'm going, there's no fucking way that every type of interventionist move Trump makes is always hurting China unless he knows, right? And I think he really does. I think he completely understands the threat pyramid. Yeah. I think he completely understands what's going on. And I think the reaction you're seeing with the split in MAGA is a reaction to them realizing he fucking figured it out, right? Because he's like, all right, what happens when I take away China's Venezuela proxy with Maduro, right? Because the crude oil that they were getting from Venezuela and the way that they were able to have a partnership with Venezuela, which was a drug trafficker of cocaine. And look, I don't know how many fucking people like Putin has killed as like Americans, right? I don't know how many people Iran has killed that are Americans. I know China has killed hundreds of thousands of Americans with one thing, fentanyl.
Yeah.
We have one country that makes one thing that is responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Americans, and it's fucking insane that we don't nuke them for it, right? Like it's like, so Trump is like, you know what? All right, here, Venezuela, Iran, Cuba, Canada, all of you. Fucking, I'm gonna do a bunch of things, and my supporters are gonna get real mad at me, and they're gonna go, he's a war, and and he's like, yeah, but you know what? I'll take the short hit, because in the history books, if I pull it off, I just saved the fucking country, and I think that's what he's doing.
So the interesting thing about China and fentanyl is their out has always been they don't sell and distribute fentanyl, but they will admit, well, we sell the ingredients to make
the precursor. Yes. Yeah.
And surprisingly, who buys from them exclusively? All the drug dealers that you're just talking about.
Yeah.
Venezuela was also another interesting thing. I don't want to dwell on it too much because I hammered it so much on my show before, but Venezuela was interesting because that was giving China an in to what it really was, controlling our southwestern hemisphere. They had a presence. It was a launching pad and a way they could work themselves up to South America and or just in the Caribbean in general. So it wasn't just oil. It was a way to circumvent some of the sanctions, but they were already getting 95% of their oil direct from the Persian Gulf anyway. They're Iran's biggest customers. So you're right on track in that almost everything that's been happening was literally squeezing China, because what happened when that whole beef between the U.S. and Canada happened because Trump put his foot down with tariffs?
Yeah,
well, what happened? Canada went to run to China to make a deal. Then what happened?
Yeah.
Trump said, hold on. And then he pulled the Venezuela move, and then he squeezed off Iran, and now China's going, oh shit, this ain't working out now.
Well, even his move with tariffs that everybody just lost their shit over, right? What happened with Jeff Bezos? Jeff Bezos stopped the China products from coming into Amazon, one of the biggest distributors.
Yeah.
Right? It's like everything that Trump does, it's like it keeps hurting China. And I'm like, dude, if you guys think a country the size of New Jersey in the Middle East with a government of 120 people is doing more damage than the fucking number 2 global superpower in the world, what the fuck are you talking about? Our greatest threat is and has been for decades China.
Yeah,
Russia,
absolutely.
I wouldn't like Russia. If China didn't exist, Russia wouldn't be a threat, right? That's how I see it, right? Because Putin's a cunt, right? He really is. He's like but his ambitions are not America. His ambitions are a return to the former Soviet Union, right? Like China's ambitions is global domination.
Yeah,
China's ambitions is global domination.
No, it is,
and that's the problem.
But here's the other side of that coin. China is the biggest threat. Iran was basically convenient for China in terms of a partnership in the area, and it was really about getting cheap oil. They're funding them, and that funding went to funding the proxies, the terrorist proxies. But I don't want to not address the Islamic regime because they are also a threat. Whether China was backing them or not, they stand on their own. China was just the convenient partner, and it was really more of a financial partnership more than anything. So,
the Islamic, and real quick, I'm going to let you finish. But I've said this before. China's our biggest threat. The greatest threat right now to Europe and the Middle East and in general is Islam. It's going to be, and it will come to our door eventually. So if I'm putting them on threat levels, I'm putting them very close to each other, right? Because Islam is they just keep fucking. I'm not even being like hyperbolic.
No. I understand what you're saying.
Fucking. Yeah. They keep having more babies that they want to make into. They outfuck the population, and they create their army by just making more, which is crazy. At least China had the one child policy. Like,
right.
They know when to slow down. Islam doesn't, and that's the problem. It's like some of these kids are born with the machine. That's the issue with Islam. It's completely and utterly incompatible with the West. So is communism, which is China. Not Chinese people, China. And just like Muslims and Islam, But yeah, we have a serious issue on both fronts. I think Trump knows that. And I think the easier one to deal with, the easier one to sell is Islam, because a lot of people still remember 9/11. A lot of people see that, if you look at the global terrorism database, you have 67,000 attacks over the past 50 years between Islam and other people. And I think that it's just easier, where China is very good at hiding their evil plan,
Right. Well, that's because superpowers like China use proxies. I mean, they're using other people to do their bidding, right? And so whatever they do doesn't stand out as much. And what I find interesting, because we were talking about the China-Iran relationship, is they will partner with the Islamic regime of Iran, but in their own country they will tear down Muslim temples and mosques. Like they do not want it to flourish, right?
Isn't that, well, they want it to spread everywhere. It's the same thing they did with TikTok, right? They wanted TikTok in America, not China, because TikTok was one of the worst things that ever happened to this country. I was screaming from the rooftops about it for years, where I was saying, I go, this is not a social media app.
No, it's not.
It's a weapon. It's a weapon. It's being used against us. It's a weapon. It's not about the data. Nobody gives a fuck about your data. All right. Nobody cares about your data, Jan. No, it was an indoctrination app. I mean, it's how we had the letters to America, Obama trend. It's how we had a lot. They're still doing it. I mean, the guys that just tried to attack the UFC event, they communicated through TikTok, and that's after we took it over. It's still bad, by the way. Trump should have killed that. If he killed that, he would have pissed off a lot of people, and he would have had a lot of small businesses that made TikTok shops, and he would have maybe lost the election, which is why he didn't.
Right.
It was a choice. It was a trade-off. It was a shitty and a shittier decision thing, as Dan Bongino likes to say. But I think that after the midterms, I know this is crazy. This sounds a little crazy. This sounds like I'm saying he should just be authoritarian. I'm not, right? But after the midterms, I do think he should go full send on things, where it's like, hey, I'm out of here. What the fuck? What are you gonna do? Right?
Exactly.
Like, I think that he should do it quick, and then he should pull it back right before 2028 to be like, I'm reasonable. Just kidding. But I think that he should do everything on his wish list, like starting November 6th. Right? I think he should just do all the things. Bomb Iran, go after China, take down TikTok, do all of it, and then just go, It's like, I got 2 years to 2 years to win you back, you know?
I still don't put that past him, though. I really don't.
I think he might. Honestly, I'm hoping he does. And I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility.
So this all leads to what we're going to talk about next. So I'm still kind of staying in the vein of the whole, conflict within the Conservative Party here. Okay.
Sure.
So how are we going to grade Trump? I know where you stand, but let's talk about how we're going to grade Trump, because of course these America firsters, big old, quotes.
Yeah.
They say, well, he's not coming through in his promises. Where's the mass deportations? Which is the stupidest thing ever, because the guy hasn't been in office an entire year, and all of a sudden it's like, there's not 10 million deportations. Like,
but I mean, I can tell you where they are. They've happened, and they are happening.
Yes,
they're just not happening in a way that those people understand. I mean, I think that that's one of those things where people actually think that they're telling the truth, right? Where, like, except for Nick Fuentes, he's a retard. Or they're like, oh, mass deportation. I go, I don't think that you guys understand how math works, right? Because if you wanted to, let's say you wanted to deport 10 million people, okay, you would have to divide 10 million people by the amount of agents that we have. And then you would have to figure out the mathematical equation, right? And it's something around, I want to say it's like 9,000 a day, right? And it's like, do we have more than 9,000 agents? No, we don't, right? So you'd have to arrest one per day with 9,000. And this is, by the way, no days off, all the way through the year, etc. So the way that you do mass deportations is you have people self-deport. That's the way you do mass deportations.
Right.
That's how it has to happen. You literally can't just go through. You can't have an agent take 3.5 hours or 4 hours out of a day. I'm talking, that's like a really good scenario to go and round up a person, put them on an airplane, and then they just go. No, self-deportations is literally what Trump did. He goes, we're going to take the CPB-1 app that Biden used to bring you in.
Right.
We're going to offer you $2,600 and a free plane ticket to fuck off. There's no agent. There's no rounding anybody up.
Right.
It's super simple. They get on a plane, they fucking leave, you give them a check, and that's how you do mass deportations. And if you add up, if you believe the numbers, which I do, it's somewhere in the area of like I want to say 3 million in under 2 years.
Yeah,
right?
So I did some quick math, and I'm going to say, okay, let's say 9,000 agents. There's no way 9,000 agents are each going to arrest person because they work in either groups or teams, whatever. So let's reduce that down to 5,000 a day. So 5,000, 5 days a week, 52 weeks in a pay period is how I would do it, like business. So we're looking at 1.3 million a year.
Exactly. They can only exactly.
What do people expect?
So that's what I'm saying. They literally cannot arrest and deport 10 million people. It's not possible. It's not physically possible.
No.
The only way that you have mass deportations is you incentivize people to self-deport, which is what Trump did. He's paying them $2,600. I don't care about the money. We'll get it back. It actually does. It not only offsets, it's actually a net gain because of the amount of stress that they put on our system financially with their social programs. They literally collect money from the government by all you need to do is just get a freaking fake social security number. But so anyway, what I'm saying is, if you believe the numbers coming out of DHS, not DHS, you understand. If you believe the numbers coming out of the government, I think what they said is they've actually arrested and deported around 700,000. But then you have another 1.7 or 1.8 or something like that on top of that number, and it was months and months ago. I think it was somewhere around 2.3. So I think right now we're on track for about 3 million.
That's quite a bit.
And we're around 3 million. That's more than Obama deported in 8 years.
Right.
And if you extrapolate that and you multiply it by, let's say we're about 1/3 of the way through the presidency. Yeah, you have around 10 million by the end of Trump's presidency. If it continues, and I know that that's not, how it works. So, but I'm saying, that's a fucking lot, dude.
No, I'm with you.
That's a lot. Yeah. That's a whole lot. So and it's like
these people are conflating, facts, data, and they're trying to put their feelings before reality, really. And, they're trying to use this as an argument against Trump's presidency. Well, first thing he promised deportations, we're not getting it. Well, you're not getting it to what? The level you want? Like, what you want's not possible. Like, do you even realize? Like, everything you said is actually true. It's like, do they not understand what goes on behind the scenes to make these fucking things happen? Like, really, it doesn't just you snap your fingers, it's done.
Not to mention when an administration starts, you're literally starting slow. You're literally starting off by going, okay, let me get caught up. That takes months, right?
Absolutely.
You have to put a team together. You have to, get Bongino, who came in and left. You get Cash Patel. Bondi has been in and out. But I'm saying, there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
And then there was let's distract everybody with the fucking Epstein files and tie up the government, because they had 500 lawyers that were working on the Epstein files because Thomas Massey came through and said, you got to release it in 30 days or you're covering for pedophiles. Those are resources that you're pulling from cases of immigration.
Yes.
Those are immigration lawyers that are working on a dead pedophile from 20 fucking years ago, dude. I don't care about Jeffrey Epstein. I'm sorry. I don't. And if you do, you probably fell for the Psyop. You know what? I think that the rape inquiry report that just came out, the things that are going on in the UK with the 87% of the offenders have been Pakistani or Muslim immigrants. In the UK, 250,000 women and young girls, children, have been raped. And I don't see a single one of these cunts talking about it.
No,
but they can't shut the fuck up about the Epstein.
They're not going to. You know what they'll do? They'll just call you racist and bigoted. That's their response.
Yeah, and that's the problem. No, and I'm talking about the right. I'm talking about the woke right. I'm not talking about the left, because I don't fucking give them
even the woke right will. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Anna Kasparian, she posted something. I go, hey, Anna, just waiting to hear your thoughts on the rape inquiry report. And this is stuff with evidence. I was reading about one of the girls who was 12 years old when she had a glass bottle broken off into her vagina.
Yeah, I read that.
And it's like, dude, I mean, bro, you pieces of shit that are weaponizing the Epstein files. I am glad Epstein is dead. I don't care if he killed himself or not. I'm just glad he's dead. Ghislaine Maxwell, I'm glad she's in prison. And I'm sure that he and her had some associates that got away with it. And that sucks.
Yeah,
right?
It does.
And that does suck. I go, but you know what? I bet you the reason that they got away with it is because whoever the fuck was in charge before Donald Trump figured out how to work a paper shredder over the past 15 to 20 years.
Dude, I was literally just going to say that. Because, okay, so you said Epstein, which is fine because I was going to bring that up because that's the other talking point from, the America Firsters, right? It's like, where's the Epstein arrests, everything. You already went over it, so I don't have to rehash it. You just explained it. But the reality is what you just said. It's like he can only work with what he has. And previous administrations were the ones who covered up and botched it. I mean, we're talking about a fucking 2 decades long investigation where, like, what
if
did
Hillary
they do?
Clinton figured out how to delete her hard drive, they figured out how to delete the Epstein files.
Exactly.
So that's pretty much it, right?
So
anybody who thinks that they're there.
So let's go to the third point they have. There's to me, the two that they stick to is either going to be Epstein or this one. And this is the other point that they have that they believe to be true. That Trump is not putting America first, that he promised no new wars, and that he's completely botching policy in the Middle East. Mm-hmm. What do you say to that?
I think that Donald Trump has to thread a very, very thin needle, right? Because I am of the camp where I don't want boots on the ground, right? I don't want. I am. That's my red line, right? And what Trump has had to do is he's had to take out the number one state sponsor of terrorism without putting boots on the ground. It's like, how the fuck do you do that? Right? Like, how do you do that? Because there's even me, I'm like, don't. Karg Island, if Donald Trump went after Karg Island, we would have lost American soldiers. We lost 14 American soldiers, and that was awful, you know? Carl Higbee, friend of mine with Newsmax, I was just watching him before, and he's a special forces, Navy SEAL. And he was like, hey, we lose 200 soldiers in training exercises every year. He's like, and I'm not taking away from the fact that we lost 14 soldiers, but I'm saying if they signed up for that and protecting your freedom, they knew what they were doing. He's like, when I signed up, I knew that there was a chance I was going to die. He's like, but you never want to see any American soldier die, right? 14, 200, that's one thing. When you get into a boots on the ground incursion, even the one in Venezuela, it's like that was 4 hours long, and look how they lost their shit over it.
Right.
It wouldn't have been good. So Donald Trump can't do that. So what does he do? I talked about this on my show this morning. He goes in, he hammers them, right, over and over again. And his strategy of peace through strength through negotiation was essentially, do you want another one? Right. And that's how you do it. It's literally, I'm going to hit you again. You want another one? And Iran just kept going, yeah. Right. And that's the
Pretty
problem.
Much.
they'll all that's the problem. Right.
Yeah.
There is no other place on the planet where they would go, yeah. I mean, Japan, it only took 2 hits, right? Where they were like, you want one?
Right.
Yeah. You want another one? Yeah. No. All right. You know what? You're right. Nagasaki did it. So where Donald Trump is having a problem, I would say, like, if I was going to grade him on his report card, is his messaging. Because what he should have done, in my opinion, and, hindsight's 2020, he should have just came out right around January or whenever, and he goes, might take weeks, it might take months, but it's not going to take years, and I'll let you know when it's over. His problem was he came out every fucking week, and he goes, it's almost over, it's almost over, it's almost over.
We won.
And it's like, I'm like, that's like when you're going down on a girl and she says, I'm so close. And it's like, well, my jaw hurts. Are you? Are you? Right. So that's the problem with Trump. So I think that everything that he's done, and he's not perfect. I've disagreed with him on so many different things, right? E-Sync ban, bump stock ban, Pam Bondi, his appointments. I've disagreed with him on so many different things. As far as foreign policy goes, I think that he is wildly misunderstood of how much of a genius he is on how what he's doing is America first. It actually really is. It's the first president that I've seen that actually has taken an America first approach to foreign policy, because he's not looking at this America. He's not looking at 2026 America. He's looking at 2038 America.
Yeah.
He's looking at 10, 20 years down the road. And that's what China does. And if you don't think like China, China will fucking roll over on you.
Yeah, I don't think these so-called America Firsters can see the long game is what it is. They look at what's in front of them. They don't understand that our existence is going to require things we got to do now for us to survive as a nation, which says correct. I mean, China has 1,000-year plan, and they're patient and they're slow and they're consistent. So I'm agreeing with you on this. my opinions on the Middle East, though, are probably slightly different on how this could have been handled. I don't agree with boots on the ground.
It could have been handled.
I also think that Trump's issue isn't so much how he handled it. To me, was really, to be honest, because he said it many times, I think he truly does not want our troops to die, so he does not want to send anybody in. His whole policy has been peace to strength, and strength by volley of missiles from afar, because we can, and we have the naval presence, and we have the largest military base in the Middle East in Qatar. We have CENTCOM right there. That's the base of operations. So we have air superiority. We got naval superiority. We have missiles that we can launch all day, and that's what Trump's been doing. And the only reason this isn't over is because Trump does not want to send people in. I know he doesn't want to see people die. He's hesitant to do it, and I applaud him for it. We shouldn't. My nephew's been deployed there from the beginning. He's a Marine in 3-1. Yeah. He has been there this whole time. Yeah. And I have people in the intel community I talk to about this, and they give me some tidbits. I'm going to tell you right now, my opinion, and we don't have the stomach for it, I would have fucking bombed Carg Island. I wouldn't have cared about the oil. None of it.
Me too.
It would have been done.
Me too.
Their finances done.
We're of the same belief. But you asked me what Trump would do, not what I would do. I would have turned it into a fucking
I understand that.
But no, you know what? The other thing that I will criticize Trump on is he gets way too cozy with the leaders of the other nations, and I think that they're smart enough to know that he likes it when you compliment him. And like Qatar is not our ally. They are a strategic partner.
That's a strange relationship.
They're a strategic partner.
Yeah.
I will give you that. But as far as an ally goes, I look at an ally like a friend, right? Like a friend, like somebody who I like you, you like me. We're allies. Yeah. We're friends, right? A strategic partner can be you can be business partners with somebody that you don't necessarily like. I would look at Qatar in that regard because Qatar funded Hamas, right? Qatar, just because we have a military base there, we have a fucking military base in Cuba, right? We have a military base in Turkey. That doesn't mean anything. Strategic partner, yes, they are. And I hope that Trump is playing them, but I'm not confident in that statement. I would say it's actually the opposite. I think that Trump's being played. And that worries me. That concerns me. So if Trump is being led to not go full send because there is a long game in play, that would be my main worry. But as far as his actual actions, yes, it could have been handled better. I think he should have hit him harder earlier. I think bridge and power plant day, because what Donald Trump does is he says we're going to have bridge and power plant day. And then bridge and power plant day doesn't happen.
Right.
And the reason why he says it to us is because he knows they're listening and they don't want bridge and power plant day. I say what he should have done is fucking had bridge and power plant day.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, because you're right. He doesn't really want to do the thing. I think that he actually is more of a pacifist, whereas I think we do have the appetite for it. I think we would definitely have the initial shock, but I think if it was like Venezuela, where it was it's over. We just did it. Right? I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission.
The more I think about it, Zach, what I see happening, and let me just say this: I think that what Trump is doing, what you said earlier, is very America first, and these so-called America firsters that oppose MAGA and are the split in the Conservative Party. I just don't think they can see the long game. I don't think they can calculate that far ahead past what's in front of them, to be honest.
Yeah, they're retarded. Yeah.
Okay. But as far as what's going on there, the more I think about this, I have another opinion on this. I think that Trump is trying to get the other Gulf states to rally and support each other to bring Iran to heel on their terms. Yeah. And it looks like that's been happening. It looks like they've been
pretty
upset.
Much. It's essentially the sequel of the Abraham Accords. I think that he started it in his first administration, and I believe that he thinks, and he might not be wrong. This is a big lift, though. Mm-hmm. I think that he thinks he can deliver peace in the Middle East. That's a huge fucking lift. That is an insurmountable lift. Is it possible? Sure. Is Trump going to do it? I don't know, man. I think that what he can do is he can stabilize the Middle East for a period of time. Yeah. And I think that that's more of an attainable goal, which might be what he will achieve. If he gets Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar and other Gulf states to basically tell Iran, right? And this is the actual conversation that's going to go on, because I think a lot of people think the conversation is going to go on like they're going to go, it's amazing, Trump's right, you're wrong, right? No, no,
Right.
no.
Right.
The real conversation is going to be, why don't we play him, right? Why don't we play ball for a while, right? And then just wait and bide our time. And then here's the thing. If they do that, maybe they will go, you know what? As we were biding our time, we realized this actually doesn't suck so much. That's what I would hope. And that's a possibility. So look, I'm just a fucking contractor who, I'm not a geopolitical expert, but I am autistic and I have common sense and I do
Yeah.
study a lot on this shit. And I do know people and I do know human behavior. And I think that if Iran, the IRGC, who are a goat fucking Islamic inbred death cult, not giving them any credit. But I do believe that if they saw some type of prosperity, they would put their radical ideology not necessarily on the back burner, but maybe second place, and that would be a big win.
Okay, so I am a geopolitical guy, and I do a lot of deep dives on my show. So I think we're both on track here. I think Trump is trying to bring the Gulf states together to bring Iran a heel. And he did that because with Iran, what they did with responding by, hey, you're not supporting us, so we're just going to blow you up too, even though they didn't get involved. And they did it enough to where Trump could go on behind Iran's back, or actually really in front of their face, and discuss things with like you said, the UAE, Qatar, and everything. Say, hey, look what these guys are doing. You're going to put up with this? And then the other piece no one's ever really talked about very often, which I have, is Oman. Oman, they have territorial sovereignty over pretty much the Strait of Hormuz, at least half of it, right? So they share the custodial stewardship with Iran. But the problem is Oman lets everything happen. Okay, so here's where I'm going with this. Oman tries to stay neutral. Who's been crying about this more than anybody since it started? Europe and the UK.
Yes.
Because they rely on the oil. Well, who is Oman's oldest European partner? The UK. So 47 years of dealing with this bullshit with Iran, what has the UK done?
What has imported a bunch of them.
But what have they done?
That's what they've been doing. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. And you look at this even deeper. You look at the reason why there's this warm embrace of multiculturalism in the UK, Germany, England, France, etc. Right? All of these countries, they're falling the fuck apart because I think, and this is just a theory, I think that that's what it is. There's these partnerships where they go, you got to bring in our people, and there's going to be a monetary benefit to you because we're going to be strategic partners. We're going to have oil coming in, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what they do is they bring in all these people out of, some type of back end, shady government, political pussy type of shit. And then 10 years later, they go, we got a rape gang problem. Tommy Robinson won't shut the fuck up about it, right? And then it just all comes to a head. So, like I said, while I do acknowledge that the Islamic regimes, they basically are a group of retards, right? They're inbred, and I'm not even being hyperbolic. There's a high percentage of inbreeding. They're not very smart. They are strategic, and there are smart people in charge of them. So I would say that that's why, and you nailed it. Like there's these partners that they have, and that's why Iran and Islam is the biggest threat to Europe, not America, and the biggest threat to America is China. But what happens when they're done with Europe? They fucking come here, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like we're gonna trade. If we attack one problem, we're gonna have another one. Which is why if Donald Trump is climbing the threat pyramid and knocking them out one by one, it kills two birds with one stone.
Yeah, so the whole thing with the EU. So UK was funny. I just read this earlier. I'm not sure if it's true, if you know, but the EU just signed a law or memorandum of agreement to where they're going to start mass deportations.
Yeah, because like I said, what happens is it does eventually come to a head where they go, we have a rape gang problem. We have a crime problem. We have a Sharia law problem. We have these problems. And at the time, the partnership that happened 10 years ago, they didn't see it.
Yeah.
And now they're starting to. That's the thing. So yeah, they're going to, and then what happens when they start deporting them? Who cares? They already fucked enough, right?
Yeah.
They already did enough. They already created enough UK citizens that are Muslim and Islamists. So those are natural born citizens in the UK. You can't deport them, right? You can deport the new ones. You can deport the new wave. But if you let Islam in your country at a 6, I believe it's a 6% rate, or 6% of the population, which was like a 400 or 500% increase from the 10 years prior. You're creating hundreds of thousands of Islamists.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they have a religious doctrine to be loyal to other members of the brotherhood over any nation, any set of laws. 67% of Muslims want some form of Sharia law. There's nothing you can do about it at that point. So when in Trump's first term, when he said Muslim ban, right? Like it wasn't Muslim ban, it was a ban from certain countries, right? When everyone freaked out about that, that was a tell. They were like, don't stop our thing, right? Because that's the goal. The indoctrinators, right? The Chinese globalists that are trying to, the Russian coalition, the smart people, they're going to try to come in and take our minds, right? Muslims and Islam, they actually try to physically take over a country. They colonize it. They build mosques. They get into your government. They become the mayor of New York. That's how they do it.
Well, hell, man, they try to build their own town with their own schools and police and everything in Texas.
4 hours away from me, dude. And thank God we had fucking Ken Paxton and Greg Abbott that were just like, no, dude. But you know how far that got? That got past the codes. That got past the permits. That got past a lot of red tape before it shut down. And he's saying you can't have Sharia law in making a Sharia law. Okay, yeah, it's nice and it's probably a little bit helpful, but that doesn't solve the problem because Sharia law is an ideology. They don't need an actual fucking courthouse, right? So they're going to do it anyway.
There's a couple things here though. We'll wrap this part up here soon. But all right. First, let me say this. I think the Islamic regime is just evil, and I've said that they should be hunted to the ends of the earth, just like we did the Nazis. Period. That is my take, and I'm not going to ever back down on that. My problem that I have is that it really seems that the world is willing to accept the existence of evil such as that for the sake of cheap resources and convenience, right? Yes. All because of oil and fertilizer. I mean, you guys, the world could have negotiated contracts with other countries. North America is rich in oil. We got Canada, we got Mexico, we got the U.S., Venezuela, which we're getting oil from and have an agreement with. Like this stuff could have been done years ago. There was even, I think it was a UAE. They proposed a long time ago, literally, to build a canal that bypasses the Strait of Hormuz altogether. And the EU countries, they were all silent on it. It just kind of fell flat because they didn't want to spend the money. But look at the long term, right?
Well, once again, you look back at Trump's decisions and you start wondering if maybe the motherfucker actually knows what he's talking about. Because what did he do? What did he do in his first term and his second term? Energy independence. He understands it. Yes. He goes, this is their game. He goes, this is their game. We're gonna circumvent their game. We have oil. Why the fuck are we buying oil when we can drill for oil? And then you have the climate change activists that go, no, we need to buy it over there. You have Greta fucking Thunberg, right?
Useful
was talking
idiot,
about
if there's any useful idiot, yeah.
Fucking Thunberg was like, I can't believe the Strait of Hormuz is closed. I thought you'd be happy, bitch. What the fuck are you talking about? Like,
right?
What the fuck are you talking about? Well, that's what I'm saying. And they're so disingenuous, and there's such a double standard, and there's such a hypocrisy to them that when you look at it, you kind of go, okay, how does this make sense? And then you try to figure out how it makes sense. And the way it makes sense is it's all leading to one place. It's all leading to this red-green alliance is the best way to describe it. Right, it's a red-green alliance to take over America.
So let's wrap this part up about Iran. But before we do, and we talked about a little bit. What is your thoughts on this MOU? Because what I find interesting is nothing has really been revealed. There's alleged leaks.
No. It was released today. It was released, and it's being read a couple different ways.
Right.
It's important to understand that an MOU is not a deal. Okay?
No, it's not. Exactly.
That's the part that people need to understand. It's a memorandum of understanding, and people are not understanding the memorandum, which is hilarious.
You're
right?
correct. That's exactly what's going on.
It's a piece of paper that says, "Hey, you guys gonna play nice," and then after 60 days, then you get into it's actually it's the starting point of negotiations if you really think about it, right?
Right.
But here's what the MOU essentially says. What I thought it said, which is okay. So Iran is agreeing, which is okay. It's like you're agreeing. That's like a junkie agreeing not to do heroin, but they are agreeing to not have or procure a nuclear weapon. If they try to, then the Gulf states are going to sort of police them. There is a pathway to a $300 billion fund, which is it's technically their money that was sanctioned that we would release. Not America would release, but there would be investments and there would be money released back to them that has been seized by various different nations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a path for them to get back $300 billion. And now, so everybody's freaking out. It's like, we gave them $300 billion. No. Here's the thing. If it's contingent upon them following through with a bunch of different objectives, right? So what they would have to have is the IAEA would have to actually have authority again and come in and really look at their nuclear program. Now, some people will be like, "Well, that's just like the JCPOA." Well, yeah, it's a JCPOA, but it's like it's a JCPOA not run by fucking Obama, right? Like it's run by Trump, and that's what people are not understanding. We have Trump for 2.5 more years, so this is the way that I would calm everybody's nerves before we even see the deal, because the MOU is not the deal. Before we see the deal, if Trump is in charge during this 2.5 year period, do you think that Iran is going to play nice for 2.5 years? The resounding answer would be no. Okay. Do you think that Trump does not follow through on his promises? I would say no, right? So here's what's going to happen. Trump is playing them to get political leverage and get oil flowing and bring money back into the country. And then after the midterms, I'm just guessing that Iran is going to fuck around.
Yeah.
And then Trump is not going to be tied behind the woke right, woke left, anybody else. He's going to go, fuck you, I'm out of here in a couple of years anyway. And he's going to bomb the absolute fuck out of them. That's what I think is going on. So you don't need to freak out about the MOU, because the MOU is a piece of paper that both parties can wipe their ass with. What it is going to do, and this is very important, it is going to fucking crush the stock market and gas and everything else. We are going to drop drastically back under $3 within a couple of months. You're going to have a bunch of Americans in a happy place right around November.
Right.
And they're going to go, okay, you know what? Maybe, yeah. And then they're going to vote red. Hopefully that gets us over the fence. And then, yeah, sure, Iran's probably going to try some bullshit, and then Donald Trump's going to go in and he's going to fuck them up again.
So, yeah, I think your take and my take here are pretty much about the same. And people don't, like you said, people don't understand. MOU is a memorandum of understanding. MOU. This is nothing more than an extended ceasefire deal so that they can further negotiate. And everybody thinks this is the deal, like I said, but it's not. Look, we look at 47 years of the Islamic regime in power. Their pattern of behavior is exactly what you said. They can't help themselves. They're gonna fuck it up.
And that's like literally, it's like my brother was a junkie. If he asked me for $40, I knew it wasn't to pay his rent.
Right.
Like, it's like, you don't need, look, if I had a memorandum of understanding with my brother when he was still alive, right? If I if I was like, bro, I just need you to not rob mom for the next like 2 weeks, just so I could move mom into a new apartment so that he didn't know where she lived. That's basically what the fuck it is, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're just trying to hold them off. And look, I think that there are people who are very emotional about this, and they should be. There's people who support the Iranian people. There's people who support Israel. You got Trump coming out and he's like, fucking BB's a little trigger happy, which he is. I still, still think he should be. But you have a lot of people who are leading this. Trump betrayed us. Trump made a horrible deal, and they're leading by one of two things: either TDS, right, woke right and left, or you have the people that support Israel who really, really did not understand Trump when he said this is not a regime change war. Trump is doing exactly what he said he was going to do. He said he's going to get them to agree not to have a nuclear weapon. He said it was not about a regime change. He said it was not a forever war. And he has followed through on all three of those things.
So let's talk about this one. You can correct me too, because I didn't have a chance to read through anything that had been released. But part of that, from what I've seen online, again, internet, was that Israel would have to leave Lebanon alone, right? Is that correct?
Not really. Essentially, it would mean that America would not get involved. Essentially, Israel can take a defensive. Israel is a sovereign nation; they're not part of this deal, right? It would essentially mean that Israel and America would not have any joint operations, I guess you could say, that would attack Hezbollah. And I think that the people in Israel supporters, Zionists, Jewish people, whatever, right? I think that what they're doing is they're coming at this with an emotional, like Trump just abandoned Israel. It's not what he did. It's not what he's going to do. It's not what he did. Right? He's a smart guy.
Well,
he really is.
What I understand was that was part of this however long this MOU thing.
Yes, it was 16 or 8.
So it wasn't. I don't know if it was indefinite. It was just basically during this time period. You guys got to stop attacking. Hezbollah.
Well, over the next 60 days.
But hold on, Zach. But at the same time, did you see Trump come out when he said that? Well,
14 points.
We can have Ahmad al-Shara, the president of Syria, go after them, though, which was a very interesting play.
Exactly. No, there's stuff in there. There's stuff in there that's really strange. Okay. So it's a 14-point plan. United States all right. So they're immediate and permanent ceasefire. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2, they're undertake respect each other's sovereignty. Number 3, commit to negotiations. Because it's not a deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Number 4, Number 4, Strait of Hormuz will be open. You remove the blockade. Number 5, Iran will make arrangements, a safe passage. Number 6, regional partners mutually agreed a plan with at least USD $300 billion for the reconstruction and economic development of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The mechanism for the implementation of this plan will be finalized as part of a final deal within 60 days.
Yes.
Okay. So when people just see 300 billion and they go, right? It's like, no, it's literally just like.
It literally just said regional partners, and I'm sure there's going to be benchmarks they need to meet to be able to get that money.
Yes. Number 7 is the IAEA board will actually finally be able to get in there. There's going to be different set of standards. Number 8, they will not procure or develop nuclear weapons, which means they can't build them anymore.
Yeah.
They can't buy them either.
Exactly.
And it's never as part of the memorandum of understanding. Now, this is again just a benchmark for a 60-day negotiation. But as of right now, Iran has essentially agreed never, ever to procure or buy a nuclear weapon for as long as they exist. Now, that doesn't mean anything. Right? That doesn't mean anything because they're liars. They're going to do it. Right? Number 9, pending the final deal, they agree to maintain the status quo, both countries. Number 10, the United States immediately upon this will issue waivers for exportation of Iranian crude oil. Right? That's one that people don't like. But Trump has came in and he explained that today, because I did watch the whole 1-hour press conference he did. And Trump said a couple of things that if you take them out of context, they sound They sound kind of like concessionary.
Right.
But what he's saying is he's going, what do you want me to do? You really want me to fucking level this country economically so that the people are even worse off? Or do you want me to let Iran make a little bit of money? Which is essentially kind of like, okay, you have two options, okay? I either fucking leave and you're on your own, right? Or I try to get them to treat you better. But there is no third option where I come in and fight your fucking war for you, right? I'm not coming in there and I'm not coming in and defending 90 million people that are not my countrymen when my country does not have an appetite for this war. I'm sorry. That sounds cold, but it's true. I don't expect the UK to fight our wars. I don't expect anyone else to fight anyone else's war. You do it for some type of reason. You do it for like some type of reason.
Yeah.
We don't have a reason.
It has to align with their interests. And the thing I think Trump's also saying here is like, look, I can continue down this pathway, but this is not just going to affect the regime. It's going to affect the actual innocent people there. And so how far do you really want me to go, right?
Exactly. And he's like, there was another thing about the ballistic missiles. He's like, right. I'm going to let them have ballistic missiles because, I honestly, I didn't like this one. That this is one of the, I don't think he should have done this, but maybe it was a deal breaker and maybe it was a concession. But he said, I'm going to let them build ballistic missiles, because they're a country and they need them, because they might get attacked. And what do you want me to do? I don't like that one.
Right.
But I kind of get what he's saying. Number 11, they're going to make fully available use. This is the part that people are having problems with. But again, that's because they don't understand how sanctions work. Make available for use the frozen and restricted funds of the Islamic Republic of Iran upon implementation of the MOU. Right. So these funds, it's their money. It's their money, and we've been holding it. And Trump was like, yeah, if I don't do that, nobody's it's going to devalue the US dollar and nobody's ever going to want to work with us again because we're essentially stealing their money. I get what he's saying. I don't know if it's necessarily a great thing. So those are 2 points. Number 10 and number 11, I would say I don't like, but also I'm not crazy. I understand that negotiations mean nobody gets everything they fucking want.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's 3 more. There's number 12. They agree that an executive mechanism will be established to monitor the successful implementation. So that's nothing of the MOU. After signing the MOU, subject to beginning of implementation of 1, 4, 5, 10, and 11. The 10 and 11 are the ones that I don't like. They will start negotiations regarding the final deal. Okay. And then number 14. The final deal will be endorsed by a binding UNSC resolution. So essentially, it's really just, it's a precursor for a deal where America will stop killing them if they give up nuclear weapons, not procure nuclear weapons, and become part of the free trade society that the rest of the world is already in, as opposed to being a fucking terror proxy, right? And here's why I think that that's a possibility. He fucking killed all of them. Like, he killed all of them. Like, he killed every fucking single member of the first administration and every single member of the second administration and about 30% of the third administration. So I think that maybe they are far enough down the totem pole where these guys might be so disconnected from the original regime. And they're still Islamists, they're still fucking crazy people, but they could be coming in there like, okay. I mean, it essentially is regime change, which is not what he wanted to do. We'll see.
Well, I know. So this is a tricky one because if we appease Iran and we let them continue in any way and they get any money back, where it's going to go, right back into the military and back into the hands of the proxies to do what? Continue to wage wars against their enemies or who they consider their enemies.
But I think that that's what I'm saying, right? So I don't know, but I think that part of the deal is if they do that, then we're just going to bomb them again.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant earlier when I said you have two. That's obviously what they're going to want to do. But again, and that might be what they try to do. What I'm saying is, as long as Donald Trump's president, I don't think that they're going to get away with that. If it was a different president, if it was Barack Obama or a Democrat or anybody else, I'd be like, oh yeah, no, this is a horrible deal because you're kicking the can down the road, and they're just going to do what they do, right?
Well,
but also,
we don't even know a deal will be signed anyway. I mean, let's just be honest.
No, we also don't. I honestly, hey, look, what is it? June, July, August, September, October, November. I need them to fucking chill for 5 months, right? That's all I need. I need them I need them to chill for 5 fucking months.
That's it.
And if Trump gets them to chill for 5 months, I'm fine, right? Because I, honestly, like I really truly believe that Donald Trump is viewing this as a holistic situation where he goes, how do I juggle these two things, right? Because we do have a problem with the woke right or with the infighting or with the it's gaining steam. It's gaining steam. It's making national news. It's becoming a problem, right? So
let's do this. Let's go back to America and what we got to do to keep us on track, because we don't know what's going to happen. We hope this deal works out for everybody in the world, but I think you're onto something. This could be a political play for the midterms.
Yeah.
Now let's discuss how we keep conservatives in their seats. And I wanted to talk to you about this because you were part of this project, this midterm cheat sheet. You had a group chat with it, and you're working with different individuals. Can you explain that and what you're doing?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I've been, I originally wanted to roll it out earlier, and I realized that it was kind of silly to do because it would have to constantly be updated during the primary process.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it was just a little, I was a little ahead of my skis there. But essentially what I wanted to do with the midterm cheat sheet is I really want it to be a cheat sheet. I want it to be a simple website where I'm just giving you the answers, right? I'm giving you the answers for all of the races, but not all the races. I want to do targeted strategic races on how we keep the majority and expand it. And what I'm doing is I'm going to be using a network of people that are going to be doing some research. Me, Sean Farish, you, yourself, and others in the message in the group chat, where I can go, what are the races that we need to win? And basically, it's going to be going bellwether, swing districts, toss-ups, and I would say we're going to probably be targeting between maybe 18 to 20 or 18 to 30-ish races. And when we put the website together, it's going to just be, here's the race, here's who you should vote for. Right now, before I got that done, I was reached out to by somebody from Sway. Sway is like a website where they have an app where you can place your picks and you can create a group and what have you. I originally thought that Sway was kind of like, because I saw MTG posting about it, so I was like, "Fuck, it's got to be." But no, I actually looked into it, and it is a nonpartisan site. They actually have a lot of leftist groups on there. Like there's anti-APAC groups. There's and the funny thing is, they reached out to me after seeing me shit on it, right? Like they reached out. They reached out to me and they go, "Hey, would you like to be a part of it?" And I go, "Do you want me to be a part of it?" And a lot of people have, their questions about who owns it. Some guy who's an Iranian American, Patrick Bet David's an Iranian American. They assured me, and I looked it up. They don't do any data collecting. They're American owned, and they are connected to some, leftist organizations. But if they want me on there, I would say that's kind of that makes me kind of go, okay, I think that they actually really do want this to be some type of nonpartisan thing because they are being overwhelmed by the leftist groups. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do both now. We're going to start the midterm cheat sheet actually probably next week. Next week, I'm going to really be trying to work on it. And it's going to be for the November elections. Hopefully that'll only take a couple of weeks to get that website up. And then in conjunction with that, with Sway, it's a group where you literally, if the person wants to, you don't have to put in your information. But if you put in your name and your district, it'll show me where you are. And that way I can actually target you and I can target message you and I can go, hey, you're in Illinois' 4th district. I need you to push this message out to your Facebook, right? And it would be a way for me to actually control and see on the map how we can help. It's very similar. It's a smaller version of what TPUSA and what Early Vote Action does. But I just wanted to do something because I keep on seeing people bitch and bitch
Yes.
and bitch, and I don't see them actually fucking doing anything. So I've been paying for the website. It's a temporary website's up right now, midtermcheatsheet.com. My sway and everything else is on my beacons link, so you can join that. And I really just want to build a tiny coalition of people for this midterm, and then I want to continue doing it year by year and get out the vote. Because me, Sean Farish, and others, we really do focus on action and boots on the ground game type of shit, as opposed to just bitching about how we don't like what the people are doing. And I think that that's the way to answer your question in a very long-winded way. How do you fix things? You actually do something. Like, talking is great. Talking's great. Dan Bongino has the 10, 10, and 10 thing, call 10 people, text 10 people, take 10 people to the polls with you.
Right.
It's unrealistic, right? It's unrealistic. I mean, I reminded my buddy about the Brandon Herrera race, and he goes, thanks for the reminder. I almost forgot. But, stuff like that. But acting and doing in the real world is 10 times way more powerful than just tweeting and
I agree.
Talking on a podcast.
That's the thing that a lot of people don't do, is offer solutions.
Yeah.
I'm fucked. I'm in California, so I don't know how I'm going to win out here. I mean, what I always tell people, at least like in my situation, California, is own your own backyard. I mean, you can affect your local administration, and then it'll branch up from there if you're consistent. So that's the only way that I see out here that we can actually make change. And, I'm involved in a lot of that. I'm actually running for school board too, so I can, get on school board.
That's how you really do it,
And so I'm going to do that as well. I may not make it, but hey, I'm going to put my foot, forward and try to do something. Because like you said, we can't sit on our asses, man.
California and New York, I think that you're both at the point, Massachusetts too, where I'm from. I think those states, Chicago, Illinois, maybe. I think those states are done as far as they will eventually come back, but I feel like it's like a junkie. They need to hit bottom. No, and I mean,
I swear.
bottom. No, yeah. I don't mean like you woke up in your own vomit. I mean like you woke up in like a graveyard. But that's what needs to happen. And you know what the funny thing is, when Mamdani was running against Cuomo, I was talking to Sid Rosenberg, and I was like, I think that maybe he should win, right? And Sid, you're crazy. You want that Mamdani? Right? I'm like, Sid, I go, fucking, what the fuck is Cuomo gonna do? He's gonna make New York, New York. I go,
right.
Mamdani might kill it, right? Like Mamdani might actually hit bottom, and I think that that's a good thing. And I think after what we just saw with the Pratt race, I feel the same way about California. I don't think Karen Bass should win. I think that fucking socialist chick should win. I think that DC, same thing. I think that at a certain point, and I'm not an accelerationist, by the way, very clear. I am not telling you to vote for these people. Always vote your conscience.
Oh, I get it.
Always. Always.
Yeah.
Right? Do not become an accelerationist where you think I'm telling you to do that. But I am saying that I believe in this constitutional republic. And I believe that if the will of the people is to elect a socialist, right, then I think that that's what should happen. And I think that that is the way to fix the problem, where you let them get so bad, where they just hit bottom. And it really does. So, I mean, New York in the 70s and 80s, and then you get Giuliani and he fixes shit up. Trump, same thing. It's an ebb and flow of politics where sometimes things get so bad that they bring in a somebody who's going to fix it.
Yeah.
Either consciously or subconsciously.
I see what you're saying. It's the caveat, or let me just pose that slightly, because I do agree with you saying, like, they got to literally hit rock bottom to understand like their decisions, and what they want just isn't fucking working. Yeah. But the problem we have is it's so split. It's my team versus your team. I mean, it's like Jets fans in the NFL. They're not fucking doing anything, but they have thousands of fans that show up every damn time to a game. It's like they just can't get away from, the punishment. They just like the abuse, I guess. And so it's like out here in California, it's like they just like the abuse. It's like all they know is Democrat. They don't even know who the candidates are half the time or what's going on. They just go check, because that's all they know. And even if we hit rock bottom, I don't know. I hope you're right.
I mean, no, but you know what? Look, it's human nature, man. I was in a toxic relationship off and on for like 17 years. A girl cheated on me. She was abusive. She was manipulative. She was a narcissist at 17. And I kept going back, bro. And I just kept going back. And then one day I hit bottom where I just go, caught her for the 1000th time or something like that. And what I did was I sabotaged my relationship. So I found out that she was back with her ex. The guy had money. The guy wasn't on social media, wasn't doing anything. Right? And I had no way to contact him, but I knew where he lived. I printed on paper our texts, me and my ex. I printed the sexting on a sheet of paper, put it in an envelope, and mailed it to that motherfucker. Right? And she was so mad at me. She has not talked to me in 10 years because it was my bottom. I've had enough. I've had enough. I'm so done. So I sabotaged my own chances because what I had done before that was forgave her. And I go, maybe I need to make it so she doesn't forgive me.
Right.
And it's like, and that's what California and New York need. They need not to keep forgiving their politicians. They need to make it so their politicians don't forgive them for electing a Donald Trump type. Well, and that's...
At least we got Newsom under investigation. So there's that at least.
And I honestly, here's the thing about that, right? Yeah. The thing about that is when I first saw that story, I was like, yeah, whatever. Then I saw his press conference and I go, oh, he might be fucked.
Yeah, he's worried.
No, he's worried.
And that originated in Sacramento. It wasn't Trump.
Yeah, I know.
This has been an ongoing thing in the background.
I saw the way he reacted to that, and the reaction is often how you can tell about something. It's like the actual thing isn't the problem; it's the reaction to the thing.
No, he looked worried.
He looked real worried, actually. Like absolutely. I think he was like. I think he's like, fuck, so. And we've already seen it happen. We've seen Eric Swalwell get taken down. We've seen Tim Walz get taken down. We've seen the Democrats sort of falling apart. I'm not really worried too much about necessarily the Democrats, right? I'm worried about what we've been talking about for 2 hours now.
Yeah,
I'm worried about the subversive takeover. I'm worried about the psyop. I'm worried about the cheating. I'm worried about the real long game that's been played. And I don't know if we are in the end game or not. And that's what scares me because I don't know where we are in this plan, right? I do know that Donald Trump was not part of their plan. I know that he's fucking up their plan. And I know that he has a really good shot of subverting their plan. So that's why I'm behind him. It's not like I'm a natural Trump loyalist. I can still criticize him. It's more like I see Donald Trump like I see Tom Brady, where I go, Tom Brady throws some interceptions, right? And when he throws an interception, you should go, right?
Right.
But he's still the fucking GOAT, dude.
Yeah,
he's still the GOAT. He's still the GOAT.
Let's start wrapping up, dude, because we covered a lot of ground. Before we do, I want to ask you this. So let's talk about what's after Trump. Are you a Vance guy? Are you a Rubio guy? Or do you have a different idea?
I haven't really decided, and I don't think I want to yet. I like them both. I like Vance. I have liked Vance. The thing that I like about Vance is that people don't like Vance, right? And that's...
Gotcha. Yeah.
So Vance is giving me Trump 15 vibes where I see the way people are attacking him. They attack him because Tucker Carlson's son works for him. And I'm like, okay, fucking whatever, right? He went on Megyn Kelly's show. Okay, did he fucking agree with her? Not really.
Yeah, it's just a show. Yeah.
Yeah, he also went on The View. Does that make him a fucking View member?
Right?
Like, what are you talking about? And I've seen both the woke left and the woke right attack him hard. I think that's pretty much why I like him. But they also don't like Rubio. And I do like Rubio.
I do too.
I would say if you asked me to choose today, I would choose Rubio. But I also said this to a friend of mine the other day. I go, why the fuck does everybody think those are the only two choices? Right? You got Brandon. You got Brandon Gill. You got Brandon Gill crushing it. Right?
Good point.
He runs for Congress. He runs for president. I'm voting for him now.
That's a good point. I just think those do come up because obviously vice president, and then you can't deny, dude, Rubio's handling of things, his performance. I mean, the guy,
he's so
you
good.
Want to talk about a goat? There's a goat. I mean, this dude is.
Yeah, no, Rubio is crushing it, and I've been a fan of his for a long time. You know what else though? I also kind of selfishly don't want Rubio out of his position. Right? I don't want.
Understand
No,
that.
I mean, like,
I
seriously, when you run for president, I think that JD gave us a little tell yesterday when he did the tour. He went on all the shows. I think that was basically him coming out and saying, "I'm gonna run. I got a new book. Okay, I'm gonna run." And I'm fine with that. The people that are criticizing, I did an hour and a half long debate with somebody over JD Vance because of the whole Tucker thing. And what I said was, I go, what has he said? I go, like, what has he said and what he's done? And I think somebody said something like, who said that Tucker was smart? I go, do you want to look up when the last time JD Vance mentioned Tucker? It was fucking 2025.
Yeah.
It was June of 2025, actually. Hasn't talked about him in a year for a reason.
Yeah,
Tucker's fucking insane. Right? So it's like,
Tucker's gone.
Are we doing the Trump 2015 thing is what I'm saying. It's like, I don't want to do that. You
might be right on that. I just wondered what your thoughts, like, based on now because of all the talk. But you're right. We could get someone else that nobody knows about that just steps up.
I don't like politicians, but Brandon Gill, man, that guy fucking every time I'm like, damn, dude, that guy. He's very smart. He's articulate. He's very statesmanlike. And I know he's a family values man. I know his wife, but I don't know his wife. But I mean, his wife follows me. We've chatted. And I don't know. There's something about that guy. Like, by the way, he looks like fucking Superman, which is also cool. But no, just there could be. It doesn't have to be Brandon Gill. Pete Hegseth could run. I mean, there's a lot of people that could run. I want an open primary. I want everyone to pitch me, and when that happens, I will make my decision. But if you were to just ask me the binary question of Vance versus Rubio, today I'd pick Rubio. Tomorrow, I don't know.
True, we don't know. All right, you want to wrap this up?
Yes, sir.
It's been a while. Appreciate you being on, buddy.
Yeah, man.
I'm sure we'll do this again down the road.
Good conversation. They fly by, but I do have to take a piss, so let's get out of here.
Fair enough. All right, bye.
All right, man.
Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell.